What's up, everybody? Gonna get this started today. Sorry I missed Jizz. I missed Jizz last night, but we had like a big storm. My internet was not reliable, so I canceled it. And that's just what I do because I'm the boss. Oh boy. What a week if you're in crypto, eh? What a last 7 days. I did some dumb things last week. All the signs were there, right? But what are you going to do? You live, you learn, you survive another day. And the most important thing is you don't sell the bottom if you have like a 3, 4, 5 year time horizon. So I didn't sell anything, I don't think. What did I sell? I sold a little bit of loose Kujira tokens. That was about it. But been playing around with some leverage platforms like DMEX. That was fun. And been focused on a couple of things in the Cosmos ecosystem, but also in the broader crypto ecosystem. So got a guest today. We got Scott from Dark Side of the Podcast. He's in the green room over here, and we'll bring him in a couple of minutes. But welcome. Hopefully you're getting settled, getting your drink. I'm not drinking. I got water. I told you guys a couple weeks ago, this is alcohol-free, caffeine-free, drug-free crypto content, the only of its kind. The only content of its kind. And man, that's exactly why you should subscribe down below. Subscribe, notifications. My link tree is in the description. You can find my Twitter. I'm actually streaming this on multiple platforms, including Twitch, which I don't know if anyone's I can't see if anyone's watching over there. It looks like nobody right now. But the last 2 streams, a couple people were watching on Twitch. So it might have been the same person every time, but that's okay. That's okay. So like I said, welcome to my live stream. I'm Joe here for Dead Cat Media, producing crypto and Web3 content aimed at the most important piece of Web3, and that's you, the end user. And I believe that's true because all of this amazing technology, Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain, digital ledger technology, none of it goes anywhere without users and early adopters, even the retail traders. So I cater my channels to you. And I'm also in that category as well. But we talk about the practical side of crypto, where this is all heading, and focus on things that people can actually put their hands on and take advantage of. But don't get me wrong, I still like to speculate. I love the fun token speculation. We'll do some today. Love the crypto banter, especially on X Spaces. But as a teacher, I know that there's a right way and a wrong way to take in and assimilate all of this information as the space continues to fly by at a rapid pace. And at the end of the day, I'm an end user. I want to use stuff. I want to focus on apps and usable technology. I want to abstract away all the fancy Web3 stuff and, see where the rubber actually meets the road. I've been looking for a shakeout for a long time. We have not had it. I thought it would happen like 18 months ago. Some of it's happening now, it looks like. But Dead Cat Media is my platform where I pass all this wonderful research and token speculation and interviews and tutorials over to the audience of fellow end users. And like I said before, you could subscribe down below, drop some comments. I respond to all of them. And my Telegram, which is in the link in the description of this very video, and gives you more insights into what I actually do with my portfolio and give you ways to win money just by supporting my content. So that's the opening spiel. Let's hey, Top Cat, you're in the chat. Nice to have you. Anybody else in the chat, you can check in, and we'll get started. Look at the markets first if you even want to. I don't know why you would want to. After this week, everything crashed. But let's do that first. All right, I got to bring in the winners and losers here. There we go. We'll bring it in. And that's what it looks like. It doesn't look good. We'll start with the winners. We'll start the winners. There are 2 winners out of the top 100 tokens the last 7 days. Fast token, no idea what that is, but looks like a low float, high FDV token to me. And then we've got Leo token, $5 billion market cap token. I believe this was a rebrand, and we talked about it last time. I don't really remember what it started as. And then, of course, the stable coins did quite well, some of them. Losers got beat up a little bit. And we'll talk about Bitcoin, ETH, and we'll have our guest Scott, who is a trader, come in, give some insights, and we'll have some fun. We're not going to talk about these prices the whole time. That would be silly, depressing. But Beam, don't know what this is. Is it Moonbeam? I don't know. Lido DAO, $900 million market cap somehow. MakerDAO, $1.6 billion market cap. So these did all right. I did notice the other day some meme coins did well on the rebound. Brett is one of them. Pepe is one of them. Dog with Hat, which I'm a holder of. I got the airdrop for having my runestone in my Bitcoin wallet. Dog with Hat. I think if I had to pick one long-term meme coin play, that would be it. The founder is on Twitter 15, 20 times a day talking about this token, trying to get it listed on Binance actually, which will be interesting. And yeah, those are your winners and losers. But I mean, let's look at the big boys. Bitcoin down almost 20%, ETH down almost 30%. Not good at all. If you watch my last stream or the one before that, I did take out a small leverage position on ETH, which got blown out within a couple hours. Not doing that again until things kind of level out. But man, oh man, let me tell you a story about the market because I am not a trader, as we know. I'm not a trader, but I try to dabble a little bit here and there, pick my spots as intelligently as I can. And this is what I did last week. Maybe you have a similar story. So on the last dip, which was I guess like a month ago, end of June, early July, I had some limit orders set. I scooped ETH around 2,900, 3,000. I scooped Solana at 124. I scooped something else on a dip. I think it was Rune. I don't remember the price. Stacks. I don't remember the price, but I caught basically the bottom of the last dip. So Solana was the biggest purchase I made. I basically usually I put a couple limit orders in and 2 out of 3 might hit. Great. With Solana, I put my whole limit order at like the low that I wanted to buy at, which was like 124, and it went down to like 122, something like that. So I basically scooped the bottom of Solana and then it ran up to 185, 180, something like that. So I talked to my friend who is in TradFi and does do some trading. He told me on the 29th, he said, the market should be shorted. I'm going to short Bitcoin. I'm going to short Solana from here. And I said, I am also going to short Solana, but I'm going to do it by just selling my position that I picked up at 125. I'll take the 30 whatever percent in profit. I'll sell the whole thing. And then I'll set my limit orders to buy it again. Well, my Sol is on my ledger and I was too lazy for a week to hook it up to my computer. With the cord is about this big. The distance between me and the computer is about that. And I just never plugged the ledger in to sell my Sol. I should have kept it on Coinbase, but I did not. So I never sold it. It goes down to like 168. I was like, well, I'm not going to sell now. I should have sold. And of course, you saw it go down way below the 124, 125 that I bought it at. Luckily for me, Sol did rebound. So, man, I kind of knew that I should have took profits. I didn't. And I would have been perfectly fine not having any Sol. Same thing happened to me with Chainlink not that long ago, where I bought it when it dipped down to 13 from about 18. I picked it up. It went back up to like 15. I should have sold it. I did not. But now I know. Got to have more stable coins. And I did have some stable coins because I sold an NFT for about 4 Gs. I took 1,000 of that. I DCA'd into Jackal at about 23, 24 cents, which I was happy to do. And I kept the other 3,000 liquid. Didn't deploy any of it on this recent dip, but it's there and it's ready to go anytime. Hopefully you have some dry powder on the sidelines and you could deploy and not do what I did, which was not take profits and also not have limit orders set for this last dip. So that's my sad market story. Man, we got a couple of good stories here, but the news is the news. The news is the news. I'm not a market expert, but long story short, combination of things globally caused people to temporarily become bearish on crypto. And let's rattle those things off. Bad jobs report. Bad jobs report. Fed does not lower interest rates. Bad employment data from the US federal government. And then the Japanese markets getting hammered by a small rate hike. We have Russia moving troops into the Middle East. We have Israel assassinating leaders in Iran. Man, I guess that's the recipe that we needed. And the other thing, we talked about this 2 weeks ago on the streams. Miners were selling, right? So miners are making less money now because of the halvening, but they were heavily in profits. I think the cost to mine a Bitcoin was like $45,000 and Bitcoin was at $65,000. If you're a miner, you want to keep your operation efficient, you got to sell something, right? So miners were selling. What else? There was something else in the recipe for disaster. Oh, ETH. The ETFs got approved. It was more of a sell the news kind of event. So there you go. What happened? Well, we had, what for most people on leverage was a catastrophic sell-off. And let's just breeze through some news and we'll bring in our pragmatic investor friend, Scott, who's waiting there patiently. I told him 4:15. It's 4:15 now. It'll be like 4:19. We'll get him in. But I know he's all right. He's doing all right. He's got a drink to keep him company. So surprisingly, after the ETH ETFs, what happened? Well, the headline says it all. ETH prices fall to the 2024 lows. I would have never guessed this would have happened. I would figure some of the other cryptos to be more volatile than ETH. I'm pretty bullish on ETH still. Maybe that has to change based on recent events. ETH can't even hold 3,000 or 2,900, which I thought was decent support, 2,900, with great news, and Bitcoin near all-time highs. Man, ETH got hammered. ERC20s got hammered. I had an ERC20 token. Man, this was 3 weeks ago. I got so greedy on a trade. I threw $500 at an AI token like 6 months ago. I talk about it sometimes. It was called Spectre AI. I sold it. I sold 2/3 of my position between $2 and $3. I think I bought it at like 15 cents. So I made $8,000 from a $500 investment, and I still had 1/3 of my position. It was at $2.40. I'm like, yeah, when I sell my soul, I should probably sell this, and that will give me some cash on the sidelines. I'll have stable coins on ETH. I'll have stable coins on Coinbase. This is going to be great. I could set a bunch of limit orders, and I don't have to do anything probably for like a couple months. Well, it would have only been a couple weeks because I would have sold those highs, and I would have bought some other tokens back on this last dip. I'm pretty good at setting limit buys, not good at setting limit sells, because I set my limit sell on this ERC20 token like 5 to 8% higher than where it was at. And I was like, all right, any kind of volatility, this will hit. No, it did not hit. So I'm stuck with that. So I am up in that position. I made about $7,800 off a $500 investment. I would have had another $3,600, close the trade out. I didn't do that. So maybe I'm overexposed to ERC20s. I don't think so. But, maybe I got to reevaluate ETH at some point. And man, beautiful AI image as always on these crypto publications. But yeah, like it says here, Ether suffered notable declines. And look, I expect the meme coins to be super volatile. I expect a lot of the other ones to be volatile. They dip harder, a lot of them, and they recover slower when the market comes back. I don't expect ETH to be in that category, but maybe have to reevaluate here. Fell below 2,200. I mean, if this is just a temporary reprieve, I would set limit orders around 19 for ETH and maybe catch the next dip. But yeah, I thought 2,900 was decent support. Apparently it was not. So just want to share this website for you. If you don't already know, it's called Crypto Quant. And you can pull some data here on Bitcoin, ETH, Tether, a bunch of other assets. But the ETH one, let me see if I could find what I was looking at. These are summaries. You could look at exchange flows. You could look at different indicators, fund data. This is interesting because you could look at the different funds that are holding ETH and what they're doing as far as inflows and outflows. You could just pull general market data. I mean, market cap looks like we are at about 281 billion for ETH. I would like to see it higher, especially when Solana rebounded so hard. And man, Solana, this is an article from today. Solana hits an all-time high against Ethereum. Still $200 seems like a long shot right now. I think Bitcoin, we need to hit all-time highs for Sol to later hit all-time highs. I never sold out of that position that I bought at 125. I should have sold it at 185 and then set a bunch of limit orders. A lot of them would have hit and I would be up really big right now. That's not what I did. So they're saying 148 gets flipped into support level. TA suggests this will be interesting because that is a nice, I mean, this is nice for Sol. It's beating ETH. It's at an all-time high against ETH. You would think they would do well somewhat in tandem. Different tokens, what I've noticed, and maybe we'll look at this next time, they're not as correlated to each other as they once were. All right, this is from Binance. Man, the fear greed index flipped from 61 to 17 yesterday. And what is this? But basically it's market sentiment, right? Low value, the lower this goes, the more it looks like the market is oversold. The higher it goes, it looks like people are they have too much confidence in the market and corrections are likely, right? That's basically what it means. So 29 coming off the lows of 17. So maybe it's still oversold. Maybe it's not. Maybe we're going to go back down and test those lows, which for Bitcoin was about 50K. For ETH was about, what was it? About 22K. Bitcoin dominance. Oh my God, man. Bitcoin dominance. It's still climbing. And it usually in a bull run, Bitcoin dominance declines as altcoins pop off. Hasn't happened yet. Did the bull run already happen? Are we not even close to the peak bull run? I don't know. All I know is that my prediction from not that long ago looks pretty good. About a year ago, I said Bitcoin dominance will hit 60%. Why? Bitcoin's not a security. All the other ones obviously are under scrutiny by the SEC. I thought US would over-regulate DeFi. Maybe they still will. I think they'll target stable coins and exchanges and wallets. They're not going to regulate on the token level, I would imagine, but I still think this is possible. Centralized exchanges were having issues back then. Right? Binance CEO, Binance was under scrutiny. FTX fallout was still happening. And then, of course, I am more bullish on proof of work than proof of stake. And there's a slew of other reasons. This is maybe the one that I would double back on. I said bridging is still iffy. Seems like bridging has gotten a lot better the last 2 years. So maybe that's not going to play into this. But yeah, I still think Bitcoin 60% dominance is still in play. And most people said, no. If you read the comments against this tweet, people were like, no, whatever, you don't know anything. We'll see. We won't know until the cycle's over, but I think we will hit 60 for sure. And right before we bring in Scott, in the Cosmos ecosystem, we had what was pretty close to being a meltdown, really close to being a meltdown. But Kujira, one of their protocols, amassed too much debt. A whale wallet, which belonged to the team operations, was borrowing and using that to LP, basically leveraging their own wallet. And there were a couple of liquidations, and we'll talk about this a little bit at the end. But let me Let me bring in Scott. And we'll have some fun today. We'll play with the chat as well. Do 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 do. Let me get my headpiece on here. There he is. Let's switch you up.
Okay.
We'll get you on the left because I gotta have I work really hard on the captions here. There you go. Did it go? You get your moniker here.
Scott. Pragmatic. Yeah, I'll take it, man. Appreciate it.
So for people who are just like clicking this video randomly, usually it's I have the most female viewers of any crypto channel, and I also am the only one that's not cracked out on caffeine and other things that were purchased at crypto conferences in Europe. But yeah, this is Scott. He is the host of the Dark Side of the Podcast on YouTube. Also streams to Twitter or puts his important clips on Twitter. Thanks for coming. I don't have the round of applause that you have, but we'll just imagine it.
Okay, I'll give it to myself. Thank you.
All right. So you trade actively even in what seems to be the most terrible conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Any trades that you hit the last couple of weeks that you would like to share? Anything that you were looking at in particular that caused you to dive right in while other people were like rage quitting social media and going back to their jobs at the McDonald's and 7-Elevens of the world?
Oh man, that's just Twitter shit, dude. You know how that works out there, man.
So annoying.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, man. What have I been actively trading anything? No, I've been leveraged, dude. Anytime the market gets this volatile, I'm putting money on the board, man, and I'm going with big X's. So yeah, dude. I mean, I did very, very well on Solana. Did well on I did. All of my shorts came in. I mean, it's not that hard, dude. When the market kind of tanks out like that, dude, it goes fast. It goes wicked fast. So yeah, no, it's not bad if you got some cash in hand. It's really not a bad deal at all. I bought $100 worth of Kujira because as a token, I've been talking about it a lot over on my show. So I have skin in the game, so I'm allowed to do it now. It's morally acceptable for me to talk about it because I hold the token. But nah, man, it's leverage. That's all I've been doing. Anytime the market gets this kind of volatile, I'm set up in my longs. I like what I like. I like my cash. I like my jackal. I like my kudos.
Yeah,
I'm okay with all of those.
A cash came down to what I would consider more reasonable market cap. Where do you like it?
Where do I price wise?
Like entry wise or market cap wise? Like obviously I think $1 billion is stretching it, but
I haven't
down
even
almost half that.
I haven't even looked at it. I don't even know where the hell it is right now. That's when I'm in, dude. I'm in. If it's a long, the price is irrelevant. It really doesn't matter to me. $2.31, market cap of 571 million. I want to say with the revenue that they're earning, I think it's still a little bit overbought, but I mean, it's once you break that threshold, once you're you crack that top 100, as long as you're not a really, really shifty one, they tend to have decent visibility on them. So I'd be comfortable with the cash damn near anywhere around here like this. But it's really, it comes down to what are you trying to get out of it? I mean, if you're just buying a token so that you can pump it, hope it pumps up and then you sell it for a little bit more, you really don't. There's so many, other ways of doing this as opposed to simply going up there and buying, these tokens. Like I said, I'm a big fan of perp dexes, and the funny part is that, dude, you don't have to take leverage. you can simply buy it, collateralize it with USDC, let it go up a little bit if you think it will, and then just close out your position like that. You don't have to, start getting into the bowels of some of these. Like, how do I buy this? How do I trade it? How do I do any of these things? I'm a big fan of self custody, and you don't really get it, but my collateral is still self custody on damn near all of these platforms. So, yeah, when it gets nuts like this, dude, I'm over there. I mean, I'm just cash position, I'm cash collateral, and am trading tokens. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. You got to get it, man. Look, dude, I am long and short on a lot of things, and I have to collateralize. I want to do a short on a cash, and I don't want to have to buy a whole bunch of tokens to collateralize something that I'm shorting. Because even though I'm making money on the perp, I'm losing money on the assets that I'm holding on to. So I have a tendency to just look for the USDC ones, because then all emotion is removed from it. Then it's PvP. I'm fighting against
USDC. You mean you're using that as your collateral for the leverage trade?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah. Otherwise, man, yeah, you don't want to miss a trade just because your collateral moved unexpectedly in relation to what you're shorting or longing. I guess it makes sense.
Well, I mean, if you're shorting it and you're up 140% on the short trade, all of the collateral that you're holding just devalued to hell and gone.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
What are we doing here? What's the point, man? It's it's like just revving up the engine in neutral. You're not going anywhere, man. It makes a lot of noise, but you're not going
That might
anywhere.
be why ETH has been super volatile. A lot of people do use ETH as collateral for leverage trades on chain. I used DMEX a couple of times this week, basically broke even, and now I have an open short where I was shorting Atom 10x. I closed it and then took the profits, and I shorted it again 20x, and I just have it open right now. I think
just compounding. That's what I do. The same thing.
I think if I get liquidated, I get liquidated at $5, but I don't think Atom. I mean, in the past, Atom has, in very short windows, done opposite what the market has done. But I don't know if that's just normal crypto stuff or if there's just something weird about Atom because it doesn't have apps on it. So there's no other tokens on chain to drag it down. But I'm pretty sure that, we saw a violent sell-off over a couple days, but then we saw a couple of meme tokens and Solana bounce back heavy. But other things will bounce back slower, most likely, and there still could be another selling event, right? So I'm not that worried. I had nothing open when this happened, but like I said in the beginning, I did plan like a week and a half ago to sell Solana, to sell this AI token that I had. It would have freed up about 4% of my portfolio into stable coins, and I would be loving the events of the last 5 days because I would have had limit orders set, and I probably would have bought some more Bitcoin when it was like in the low 50s. But I think we'll have another. I was listening to some spaces with some traders, and the consensus in the spaces that I listen to is that Bitcoin's going to test 50K again, maybe 49. So that means everything else is going to probably come close to or even go below its most recent low. I just have to get my stable coins where I need them. On chain, the only platform, ironically, where I would set limit orders would be Kujira. But I'm not going to do that now because I root for them no matter what, but I'm going to wait. I think we're going to need like a couple weeks to see what happens. And I have been talking to the founder of Kujira, or co-founder Dove, in DMs. I have some inside info about what's been going on and like what it's going to look like when it's over. But he doesn't want anything to kind of mess up the negotiations, which I think favor Kujira heavily with Thorchain. And Lavana, very smart to get in on that action as well. I don't know what you think about that. I know you use Lavana quite a bit.
Yeah, I like Lavana. I like some of their pools. I like the any of that's USDC collateralized. Those are the pools that I'm going to swim in. Anything that I have to hold the tokens on, likely not. Again, I don't want to buy a token and then short it it makes no sense to me. But
Right.
here we are. Is it good visibility for them over on Thorchain? Sure it is, man. Deep liquidity over there, lots of other good stuff. Like, man, they're an app, dude. They're a casino, and casinos want to expand. You want to be in all of these different locations, so there's really no downside for them. I know that there's some jackouts that are having to go at Levana right now. You're trying to take our, they're like, you're trying to change the narrative. I was like, dude, are you getting fucking married? Is that what you're worried about? Are you the bride and you're worried about getting upstaged at your wedding? Shit'll work out, dude. All right, there's tons and tons and tons of different places to do all of these things. So I mean, if your only chance to be successful is to be the only thing, then I don't know, man. I'd maybe reevaluate your holdings. Where it is right
for
now.
Sure. I think when the market sells off like this, you saw like all the crybabies on Twitter. I'm never ruined. Oh, now I can't whatever buy this.
Yeah.
Dummy. This is the time to look at the portfolio, because I think if you could say, you get like more of a refresh mentally. You're like, all right, maybe I don't love this token as much as I really did. Let me look at why I have it in the first place. And then I might have to cut losses, or even though I might be selling the low on something, if I'm putting it into something else that rebounds harder and faster, you're not selling the low. You're just repositioning at a time where you might have better clarity due to some of the emotions being taken out of it when you get those sobering red candles when you wake up one day.
And that's pretty typical for most traders. That's why so many people really actually, the thing that smokes them is their inability to sell. They just cannot look at it, market sentiment, everything that's going on in the world, and say maybe this is a good time to get out. People just cannot do it. You got that whole crypto cult mentality, the whole diamond hands thing. I'll never ever sell.
I didn't sell the last bear market. But I also didn't buy anything, so that was my mistake. I just didn't log into my Coinbase account for almost 2 years.
What are you doing on Coinbase? Don't trade on Coinbase. Stay off from Coinbase. Come on, dude. Self-custody.
Well, this was like in 2017, 2018. The only apps were like crypto kitties, breeding NFT cats.
Whatever helps people cope, dude. I'm kind of past it, man. I don't
got a question that I think is for you. What about funding rates? That's from Ambito.
What about, are you talking about leverage funding rates? Yeah,
I guess so.
It's all disclosed, dude. You just find your happy place and put it into your projections. And will I be profitable even after funding? Look, man, I do it a little different. I'm hyper aggressive when I'm doing leverage, and I'm going to go in big money, high X's, but I'm only in there for a very brief amount of time. I'm not in there to. I'm not gonna. You're not gonna see me post up 1,000%. It doesn't happen, man. I set my number. I'm very, very disciplined. When I get up 30%, I'm closing the trade. I don't care what the market's doing. I am out. So I go large capital, really, really heavy leverage, and I'm in there a brief time so that the funding doesn't, exactly for that reason, so that the funding doesn't kick my ass over time.
Can that be considered like a decay?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're going to pay the VIG, dude. You're borrowing their money to do it. You're going to pay them to do it. They love the VIG. They love you staying in there. They love it. It's like the rake at the poker table, man. They love, the longer you play, the more you lose. That's just is what it is.
They want everyone to go all in every hand and chop every pot, because the rake comes out no matter what.
The rake is always going to come out, man. And that's it. You're going to catch shows on any of these things. But
do different platforms have more attractive funding rates?
Sure,
it depends. Are they all pretty comparable?
They're comparable enough. If somebody's up there, if the VIG is too high, man, we're just not gonna play there. And in crypto in particular, man, there are 10,000 different places I can go to, 10,000 different perp dexes out here, man. There's always some place that I can go, and most likely it'll have a better deal. So, for me, my position, I just want to make sure that I'm going to be paid off. So I'm going to dig in. That's why I like Levana. even during the short, dude, they were beat to hell. They wouldn't take my action anymore. I was putting in these big whopping trades at these big X's, and they said, nope, we cannot complete this transaction. The LP was gone. It was drained. Everybody did it. So it's going to protect itself, meaning that it's not going to drive itself into a leveraged position just to pay me off. So yeah, I kind of like that. Now, the bigger ones, it's not really going to be an issue. Your DYDX and all that, they have just tons and tons of capital, man. So you're going to make sure. But that's interestingly, that's one of the things I look at more than anything else, is to make sure that I'm going to be paid off.
Yeah, of course. You why don't we just, I always have people from Cosmos watching this. Kujira, Thorchain, Levana. How could we summarize this the right way? They just got in trouble with leverage in order to supply liquidity on their own platform. This is Kujira team, cascading liquidations, tank the price. Most people are staked, so they have to unbond. By the time that happens, who the hell knows? But they get kind of like a savior. They had a bunch of people in and out of the ecosystem looking to kind of make them whole and take a piece of that platform via the token. Accelerator DAO is in there. I don't know if that's necessarily their area of expertise, right?
I wouldn't think so. I understand
also not their money, So
it's also not their money, dude.
I was kind of happy they backed out, and I found out through back channels kind of exactly what happened, but it seemed like they wanted to be the only player, basically.
Oh, AA DAO? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're coming in, coming in at the 11th hour, you want to be senior money. Senior money means my way or no way. They're going over to Thorchain now. We don't have any details. Everybody's incredibly excited. We don't know anything yet, but everybody is still really, really excited just because something's happening.
Something's happening, right? And there's been a verbal promise
which is all you need, man. Yeah.
the co-founder of Thorchain. Look, he's doxed. He has enough reputational equity to get by on his word up until the token sale goes down. He basically said he's going to buy the tokens if they don't sell, and they're going to do, I don't know if you would call it a fair launch. The way they do their token sales is pretty good because anybody can get involved at the same price as JP from Thorchain is going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to basically buy remaining tokens. Even if he has to buy them all, he'll be the whale of Kujira. I kind of like that, but I know that Kujira itself, there's going to be some terms in there that are going to see probably some of the longtime contributors heading to the exit, not voluntarily, right? So, and that's to be expected. I mean, they took chances with money they shouldn't have. It cost the platform, basically the confidence of the holders.
Yeah, and no, I mean, I get it. They're kind of excited right now because somebody's coming through and something's happening, and that's all that people really matter. They don't look long term on this, dude. These are crypto degens, and that's the whole Kujira platform. So yeah, they don't care. Something's happening. They're ready to basically sell their soul, and I think it's kind of funny because the day before they were loving AA DAO. They could not get enough of the AA DAO. They're gonna do it. We're gonna finally give usage over to Adam, and it's a great dude. It was all over Twitter. Don't act like you didn't read it. It was all over Twitter. They cannot wait. As soon as Carter made that post, man, that token started going up. People were all over it. And then as soon as Thor steps in, then all of a sudden they're like, who's Adam? It was never going to be a good deal. We would have never liked this. This would have been terrible for the eco and all. Yeah. It's just funny, man. It's politics at this point.
It is. And I heard bits and pieces of the deal. And I think Kujira is right. If they have apps that people want, it's closed source. A lot of it, people can't just steal it. If there's multiple bidders, they should hear out every offer. I think this is the best one, man. I mean, you could look at Thorchain as the only real liquidity hub, but maybe besides DYDX, using the Cosmos tech stack. And they have no bridged assets, no wrapped assets on their platform. They have anonymous validators who are not friends with the founder, which is one of the biggest problems in Cosmos in terms of governance and decentralization and all that. this is like best case scenario for Kujira. They have no inflation. They can't buy their way out of this. I think they'll have to have some type of emissions. I think it was you I was talking to on the phone. I would I would have liked them to turn on inflation in order to attract people to participate in this pilot sale. But here comes JP saying, I'll buy 3 million worth of tokens if I have to.
It's the man, the windowless panel van
And he
that
can't
shows
sell.
up.
There's no way he could sell that position unless Kujira gets some major liquidity, because I know it's traded on Kraken. But
It depends what price he's getting them at. I know he's going to say,
correct.
I'll pay market price. You don't know that. He could put out
Well, no,
anything.
it's got to be a discount. I would imagine they're going to sell.
Absolutely, it's going to be a discount. It'd be a massive discount. I could have fucking bailed him out, but I wouldn't have given him more than 6 cents per token. I didn't drive your chain into this dire situation. So yeah, man, you want me up there? I'll get you out of it, but you're going to pay me the hell off when I vest. When I'm done, I could assure you that I'm going to be closing them out. I don't want anything to really be in there. I like to be in chains that I'm the whale. I don't like to sit there and be underneath somebody else and hoping they do the right thing, man. That's the problem. It's a crypto problem up and down over here. So
well, it looks like they've got themselves a benevolent whale.
yeah,
I mean,
sure they do.
all successful projects need a benevolent whale. That's who controls the liquidity of these DeFi protocols, the trading of these DeFi protocols. So at least for now, I don't think that I didn't even know Thorchain was going to be in the business of acquiring apps, because they're very worried about the security of their liquidity layer. I guess this is not going to affect that. It's going to be just onboarding apps, and then maybe the LPers can now participate with those LP tokens on something like a Lavana or something like Kujira token launches, or whatever they're going to do. They're probably not going to do an AMM anymore.
Well, no, that's not going to happen, man. No,
Not the same way anyway.
I think the funny thing, if for some reason it's not getting discussed anywhere, Thorchain has their own stable, their own algorithmic stable.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Yes, they do. And USK, there's no way that they're going to cart this whole thing over and still allow USK to exist over there, because you're basically financing a competing algorithmic stable token. It would make absolutely no sense for them to do that. But so you kind of got to ask, okay, what's going to happen here to USK? And I noticed that nobody's brought it up. Now, if I was Thor grabbing all these apps, I'd be doing that for exactly that reason, to push out my own algorithmic stable token. That's how we earn. That's how we can do all this stuff. Plus, I would control all these leverage positions. And because, he has got a good reputation, he's so upfront, so open and honest with everybody, that you would never, ever, think about any kind of shenanigans that are happening over there. So I find it interesting that we're not even discussing it. I mean, never even came up. And the advantage to him, of course, is that all of that can be used. His stable token can be used in place of Kujira instead of USK. And the Kujira people swear up and down that this platform does not function correctly, because it's such a complex ecosystem that it simply does not function without USK. Now, they've been on record numerous times about that, over and over and over. We have to have USK to make this thing function. I got a hunch your USK is going to be going away. I do not understand. I would not bring on a competing stable token. So the devil is really going to be in the details on this. And I'd like to see at least somebody mention it. I got no real dog in this fight, dude. I got $86 worth of Kujira, and which is probably worth even less now. So I have no real dog in this fight, man. But I'm just curious. I would not touch Kujira. I've never been over there. I tried to use their apps a few times. They're confusing. The UI UX is just absolutely god awful, and I have no interest in that. It's just more Terra bull stuff. So I never really dug in on that thing. So the crash, I saw it. I mean, like anybody else, but I didn't care, man. I got no dog in this.
I had a bunch of stake tokens. I'm not going to play the game of unbonding, and so many people beat me to the unbond. There's almost no point of unbonding it. Now, it's not, I took a bigger hit on their altcoins. So I'm just going to wait and see if if I can get out from under a little bit of my tokens. just to lower my exposure a couple months down the road, I'll be happy to do that. Like I said, this is probably best case scenario for Team Kujira, but I think the team is going to change, when it's all said and done, and that's to be expected.
I tell you what, day one, I'd fire everybody, all of them. We got your apps; it's mine now. You screwed it up, you ran it into the ground, and you're all gone. Code's going open source. We'll get our guys on it. If it hiccups for a couple months, we'll let it hiccup. But I mean, how could he bring on and support the team that did that? I mean, what does that say about you? What does that say about the way you think about the people that are investing in your tokens? This was pure shenanigans. That's all this was. They admitted it. They were open. Yeah, we fucked up all the way down. And their holders are still, but they did it for a good reason. No, not so much, man. Sometimes the market will just sort these things by itself.
Not only that, sometimes the results actually matter. And the result is
a little bit, man.
As usual. People that are staking tokens, they're like the human shields because they can't sell into this. They have to unbond and sell 3 weeks after this. And it sucks, but I mean, you don't have lawyers, accountants, and financial advisors in this space at all. So I used to get offended when I would hear crypto's the Wild West. It's worse than the Wild West. And I think I'll leave it at that. And we'll get on to a new topic that's a little more fun.
Okay.
Went to that DPIN event.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago. Akash puts on these IRL events in New York City. And they basically invite who might be their competitors 5 years from now, but it's cool because it's collaborative and they're all talking about the same thing: product, revenue, customers, business. It's not like here's another DEX. Oh, here's another DEX on another chain. And now we don't have enough liquidity. Whose fault is that? These are actual, in some cases, physical devices, right? And DPIN, I know you're all over DPIN as well. This is like the Web 2.5, where people will eventually get to use stuff that has blockchain under the hood, maybe crypto under the hood, but it's going to look like Web 2. So I like focusing my attention on DPIN, which I consider to be like the bright spot outside of Bitcoin. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yes. Well, obviously I do, dude. I mean, we're building Aegis for hell's sake. That's a crypto app, by the way. Joe can't see it. Oh no, you can. He's seeing it live.
It's good, man.
That's an actual crypto app. It's using nothing but blockchain on the back end, but you would never know it. And obviously I believe that's completely the future, man. Everything else, all we're doing is rehashing and bleeding. That's it. That's all we're doing out here is rehashing, cloning, forking, just, regurgitating ideas that have failed before, but we're going to present them as new. And that way people will buy our token and stuff like that. But no, I don't believe that what we're doing is sustainable. It's really not out here. The thing that's going to pull it out is going to be products. Products bring customers, products bring revenue, products bring all of those things. But it's real tough for the crypto mindset to wrap their brain around that, man. Because like for us, for example, I keep getting asked over and over, when iOS. iOS is going to take about 18% of our revenue if we put that on the App Store. So if we can port it to iOS, and that's great, but we're giving up 18% of our revenue. And our margins are going to be so razor thin here, man, because we have to be cost competitive with Amazon and Facebook and all of these other people that offer these things. And they can simply crush it. They could, we're not a threat, obviously. Look, man, we haven't even really released yet. But let's just pretend that we hit velocity. Just let's pretend. Suddenly, man, we wake up and we have 100,000 users or something like that. That's money that we're pulling away from iCloud. They could literally bleed us out. They can just wait. They can just do all those things. So our margins are going to be so super thin to stay. But these are the things that you have to take into consideration when you're talking about, regular real world apps. Is that in this point we're
Yeah.
a business, we can't print ourselves out of a bad quarter. We can't do any of those things. We have to continue to provide a good product and a good service that people tell other people about, that they continue to pay us to use. So yeah, it's tough. And I honestly, man, I'm convinced that's why nobody will really even try it, even though it's the lowest hanging fruit in this entire market.
It's boring.
It's boring, and people don't want to talk about regular business. I mean, they just don't, man. They want
hope and dreams, and
yeah,
and subverting the traditional finance system with some tokens. Man, it's tiring to see that. It's like there's no stable coins are like the number one use case of blockchain.
Right now they are. Yep. Turn it into $1, man. Isn't that funny?
I was just about to say, and the reason why they're the number one use case for crypto and blockchain is because you could redeem it for fiat.
Yep. And that's it, man.
I'm talking about your tethers and your USDCs.
Yes, because they are pegged to $1, and we can redeem them for exactly that. So
backed value and redeemable value are very different things, and I still don't think people learn their lesson. I mean, for example, there are lots of NFT collections that do this. They say, I'm going to sell my NFT for $20, and then we're going to take all that money and we're going to have an investment DAO. So if I get 100 people to buy my NFTs, we're going to buy these assets using governance. It's going to be like a club. Cool. Those NFTs are backed by the treasury of that investment DAO, but they're not redeemable for that.
Nope.
Unless there's some stipulation and some mechanism to do the exchange. And I think about that. Backed value and redeemable value is totally different. In crypto, the tokens are not redeemable for anything. They're redeemable for other tokens. Their liquidity is pit at each other. The market caps are absurd.
Oh, the market caps, yeah, for what you're actually talking about, for what it actually
backed.
is,
they're
what
not
it,
redeemable.
yeah, what it is, what it does, where its value comes from, all of those things. So, that's probably one of the best things about crypto is that you can just kind of ignore that. You can just pretend that's no. It's
That's
really
exactly
it's really worth a whole bunch.
When everything's humming along smoothly, the market caps are the market caps. But when there's a Luna Classic USD debacle, you're like, but where did all the money go? And then
what money?
it takes an adult in the room to say, that was just numbers on CoinGecko. That was not money.
No, it doesn't mean anything. That's why I'm a fan of RWAs. That's kind of, I think we're going to gum them up and game them up the same way that we did with mystery money stuff. We'll end up doing the same thing, but that's also why I'm such a big fan of DPIN, because DPIN is actual applicable technology that can end up on somebody's phone. It can do a service and you have to pay them for those services. So, I mean, it's the closest to a traditional business that I can find out here. And I truly believe that it is the way forward.
DPIN can be insulated against the speculative side of the industry, which is most of it, right? It's besides stable coins, the number 2 use case is gambling. Like we don't have enough gambling. Even in New York, it's the strictest place in the world for everything. You can't do anything. I live, I would say 2.5 minutes by train to Belmont Racetrack. You could go there in the winter and bet on horses when there's no activity at the track. I could download onto my phone multiple sports betting apps. I could bet on Filipino baseball. I could bet on the Olympics. I could bet on who I think is going to be president in from August to November. Gambling, we were okay with gambling, but now because it's on chain, it's like more exciting because you get to talk about it on Twitter. I don't know.
I have no idea, man. And considering the assets that you're gambling with is funny as hell. I noticed that most of those only take USDC. Yes, we'll take it. We will take any action you want to give us, but we're going to take something that is actually worth $1. So yeah, you can't really push your some of the funny money tokens over there. They just will not take the action on them. But what are you going to do? Do people like to gamble? I'm not going to bust it. I like to gamble. I'm not going to bust anybody's balls on that. Yeah.
Listen, wreck yourself. My strategy when I played poker was to just be like a silent predator at the table. I wanted to sit at the table where the people didn't even know they were gambling, where they're like, oh, I watched poker once on TV. I kind of got the hang of this, having no idea what pot odds were or EV was or fold equity was. Those are the tables that I wanted to play at. I would imagine a lot of the whales in crypto who are trading, purposely trying to liquidate others, they're probably going at it with the same mentality, right?
I'm not trying to liquidate anybody, but if you allow me to do it, you know, what are you going to do, man? I mean, I can only be altruistic.
It's part of the game. I mean, it's part of the rules.
I can only be altruistic for so long, dude. I mean, if you present these beautiful situations that allow me to, get in there and Thunderdome it, I'm going to, man. It's nothing personal.
And I think it's the same in poker because you're looking at long-term expected value.
Yep.
There's going to be an equal amount of bad luck and good luck for every trader. Over time, the skill and just the decision making will make one person a better trader than someone else, right?
Sure.
And I think with trading, a lot of people got lucky early because they bought in 2016 or they bought in 2020, 2019, and it makes them feel like a genius. It's like playing poker for the first time and just winning a poker tournament with your friends the first time you play. You're like, oh, I could win a tournament at a casino.
I am awesome. Yep.
It happened. So,
time, dude.
And I remember I played online. So I played one summer. I went to Florida for like 10 weeks. I played in the Hard Rock Casino and I played like, I don't know, maybe like 25 days in the casino and I was up a little bit. And someone was like, wow, it's really good. Like you're a winning player. I'm like, I only played a couple thousand hands. I could have done that in one day online. That's nothing. Like these professionals are playing 10 million hands a year probably, right? So it's this long-term variance is just shaking so many people out. I feel like there's more people that are wrecked, and that's why retail is not quite there. And besides that, you can get wrecked on centralized exchanges too, it seems. So
oh, sure, man. You get destroyed anywhere, dude. Look, it's crypto. Yeah, everything you said about it is the Wild West, man. You have a army of people up here, brand new traders, uneducated traders. When I say things like the Nash equilibrium, it goes right over their head. They have no idea what the hell I'm even talking about. And there are some very, very fundamental economic basics that people should understand. Before they start just writing checks over here, but they don't, man. They hear from people, they see it on Twitter, they see it on YouTube and say, oh my God, I have got to get some dog with hat. I have to do all these things. By the time these big meme coins and all that have pumped to where they're getting these multi-billion-dollar market caps, the whales are there now, man. All right, you're swimming, you might be holding the token, dude, but you are up against an army on the other side. And their whole purpose is to get your money. Is they want to take your money, and very few of these things there's no path for them to generate any real revenue. It's just speculative buying and selling. Again, man, look, that's why I'm at where I'm at. I make crypto boring. I'm that guy, and I'm still going on YouTube talking about how boring I make it. It is. If you can look at this philosophically, then everything that you need to know is actually out there already. Now it's just a matter of time. You're going to see the Kujira shit running chain to chain. You're going to see all of these things rising and falling. I mean, it happens constantly. But the steady players, the things that will perform a service and that can be paid for that service, that's where you want to be. That's where I am.
Yeah, I had a good reply to one of my tweets was somebody who I actually know who is in traditional finance. And his reply to one of my tweets was something like, the problem with crypto is that more people care more about understanding the markets than actually making money in the markets. And I was
right. You got to move, because that's what I'm saying, man. You got to move. You texted me when you were long in ETH, and I said bold. Was that not my reply? I said that's a bold thing to do right now.
It was bold, given that I also wanted to sell my soul the same week. So I'm like, why would I? Yeah, no. I mean, I saw like some support at the level where I took and it was, I was only getting like, what's the leverage on Nolus? You're getting just like 1.5 times your bet. It's not even 2x leverage, right? Well,
I don't swim over there. I believe you.
It's nothing. Yeah, it's just you're borrowing like 150% of your position and you have a little bigger position, right? So I wasn't 10x. I sold down like 50%. I didn't get liquidated, but I would have if I didn't close the position for sure.
Sure.
But man, even like these small plays for me, it's nerve wracking because I don't know what can happen. I think a lot of people that got lucky early, they don't even think about what could happen with a particular trade. They get overconfident. They start betting bigger and bigger percentages of their total portfolio, and then all it takes is one or two events to just wipe out somebody.
And then they start chasing losses. They go on tilt. All right, that exists over here, particularly over in the leverage market, and they just they get emotional and they play stupidly and they get wiped out. And then they go to Twitter and a lot of people will pat them on the back. That's okay, you'll come back and all this other stuff.
Now you're part of the community. You got rocked.
Yeah, man. And honestly, I love those people because those are the people who will keep pushing money in here so that I can,
That's it. That's the again, in poker, that's the dead money at the table.
It is, man. That's the guy, man. Yep.
There's a great story. There's a great story that I read on I think it was Daniel Negreanu's blog, who's like definitely one of the best live players ever. And just guy has like a sixth sense. He's got balls of steel. He's a gambler.
I've watched Negreanu play forever. He's the only poker player up there that knows what I'm holding.
He's a great teacher. He could teach the game while he's playing. But he told a story how a couple times in his life he would win in his home game, save all the money, and then go to Las Vegas and try to play against the other pros. And within a couple days, couple weeks, he would go bust and have to go back to Canada. Well, there was one particular instance where he was crushing his home game, saved up a couple $1,000s. He goes to Vegas and he's playing all night, playing above his limit, playing above his bankroll. I think it was like a 10-20 limit hold'em game. And they were the only table in the casino late at night. He loses his last bit of money and he just can't. It's like his fourth time doing this. He goes in the bathroom, puts water on his face. And when he came out of the bathroom, the game broke, meaning the players just agreed to quit. And then he realized the only reason why they were playing is because I was in the game.
To get his money, you bet.
They knew that he was, you need dead money in every game. Otherwise, all the best players are just trying to get lucky against each other because the skill is so close. And you could see that with high stakes poker. If you ever watched it, they bring in a sucker businessman who's got more money than the players because you need that loose money in the game. But yeah, crypto, there's a lot of loose money and a lot of fast money and a lot of dead money. So your job, if you're going to trade, your job is to get it. Your job is not to give it.
Yeah, and that again, that's for the pure crypto Thunderdome mentality, which is 90% of it. That's absolutely correct. Like I said, man, there's the diamonds. The diamond in the roughs are out here. I know I'm very heavy in a couple of them, so they are out here, man. But I see the whole rest of the market as just fertile ground, dude. I mean, if you're gonna be stupid, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. It's nothing personal, man. But if you want to give away your money, I think I could, it would be better in my pocket than yours.
That's exactly right. You're sitting at a table, you might feel bad for the other person,
not that bad.
That person's going to lose their money anyway. That person.
Exactly. And it would be better in my pocket. I will spend it better than you will. So yeah, man, that's it. Actually, I see it. I'm good for crypto. All right. I'm good for it because then the money will be spent better. I'm pulling it off from dead chains and I'm sending it over to the good ones. So you know what? You're welcome. I'm doing God's work here, Joe.
You're like the transcontinental railroad of liquidity, just bringing it over to where it belongs.
Funneling it where it needs to be, man. Not where you guys think it is.
Anyway. All right. So we could end on this. What are you looking for in the market, whether it be signals, data, or just like, I don't know.
Couple things. We're going to
counter what you see on social media, but what are you looking for?
We're going to continue to experience just insane volatility. Now, I'm okay with that because I'm a leverage trader, man. This is where these are the waters that I swim in. There is entirely too much that's going on right now. Now, I want to think that the market's starting to price in a U.S. rate cut in September. It kind of feels like it's starting to price that in with the swings from like 57 to 54. I mean, these are just wild swings. So I think that the market, it's going to start pricing in that rate cut. Now that makes it really, really tough though, because it lets the sharks loose over in the leverage world to force liquidations and stuff like that, and really start pinging on the price, because they're going to make money up and down. And come the end of the day, they're not holding anything. All they're holding is cash, waiting for the next day to start, or their next session to start. So I think we're starting to price that in. Japan settled down, but I think it was a hell of a shot across the bow to how bad that can actually affect everything else out here. The beating of the war drums does not help. It's good for defense stocks, but it's not really good for anything in traditional finance. So something's got to give here, man. And the fact that we're like 90 days away from an election, I can tell you, aside from my long tokens, come November, I will hold nothing. I will only hold my long tokens and cash. That is it. I won't touch anything else. Crypto's volatile enough without getting into election day shenanigans and how this is going to work out. So I figure I got about 90 days to take advantage of volatility. I think we'll see it come September. I think we'll see a rate cut, maybe a quarter point. I wish they wouldn't, but they're going to. And aside from that, man, we got to wait for a war to end. Until one of these wars ends, man, we're stuck. And Russia just, they're going to continue to beat those war drums, man. It's rough.
I think crypto is not in a situation. It's gaining mainstream during a time where there's so many geopolitical hurdles and the interest rates are not favorable for risk assets. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I guess that's a good strategy, right? You have your longs, and then you have a separate trading portfolio where you said you sit normally about 50% in cash.
20% of my total net worth is sitting in USDC, USDT, just the other stable tokens. 20% of my crypto portfolio is cash, and it'll always be cash. I'll never ever waver on that. I don't care about buying opportunities. It doesn't matter. If you think we hit the bottom, we didn't. And if you fully commit on something like that, and you catch another black swan, that's how you get wiped out, man. Got to have discipline over here.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on, man.
Yeah, man. Had a ball.
Talk to you soon. I'll catch your stream tomorrow night.
You know who's coming on tomorrow night? Griffin Anderson's going to be on that.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
I'll be in the chat. I'll be listening intently, I'm sure, there, because I was buying Astrovault a little bit when it got below 6 cents. I'm like, how do I let it just sit there? 5 cents, 6 cents. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't see much life out of about 70% of the Cosmos chains. I don't see organic users. I don't see L1s really driving campaigns.
Nah, man, the whole apps. Nah, the whole L1 thing is dead, dude. Apps, not chains. You could consolidate all of Cosmos into one or two L1s, and I don't even think anybody would notice. I think everybody.
I think this. The one thing I like about this Thorchain thing is that about 18 months ago, I said we need to see chains halting, collapsing down onto fewer and fewer chains, and also teams collapsing down. So you have more talented people working on less projects, and that's bullish for those projects. Very interested to see how Thorchain integrates. I would call them third-party apps, right? Because that's what
they're doing.
They're acquiring apps. They're being opportunistic. I think that's a bold move. We'll see. I like Thorchain. I think it's important infrastructure for crypto, but now they're going to have an app layer. Maybe it's going to be great for them. We'll see.